As an Egyptian, if someone not Egyptian, with whatever degree he or she holds, and with all due respect, would come to me and say, "I'm going to teach you about Egyptian history," I would go like, "What?" I was born and raised in Egypt. I lived there for 25 years of my life. I graduated Egyptian college. I went to Egyptian schools. I walked in Egyptian streets. I utilized the Egyptian medical care system. So uh, it would feel like we all know that the history, the type of history in essays and books is way different than the history in reality. And this is exactly how it feels like when someone non-black or someone who, with my background, immigrant and non-native English speaker, would assume that he or herself knew better about race and social justice in America than the black people themselves. But this shouldn't stop us from talking to this topic to our communities, to our children, in order for us to be better people and better communities, and in order for us to end racism eventually. Um, I'm blessed with black friends, and I noticed that the negative impact of racism on the black Muslim community is doubled, or maybe way more than the negative impact of racism on black people in general. Maybe because of the double identity, being Muslim or being a minority and being black. So that add up to the struggle. And unfortunately, um, my Muslim black brothers and sisters have high hopes in the immigrant communities when they come to Islam. When they come to Islam, they have high hopes in the Arab immigrant community, but unfortunately we fail them. I always hear things like, you know what, I never felt welcome to this mosque. This mosque is for Arabs. I hear things like, you know what, the Arabs always brag about how much they know from the Quran, how much they understand the Quran, how much they memorize from the Quran, the Holy Scripture, and how they feel the words in the verses. And I am stumbling in my words. They are really good at making me feel like less Muslim than them. I hear things like, you know what, I was invited to this party, and because of my skin color, they thought I'm the poor person, and they give me leftovers. I hear things like, whenever I'm around Arab immigrants, I usually have to point out to my PhD degree to get some respect. And there's these all situations are types of racism. Because we're not familiarizing ourselves with someone black in leadership, or we're not familiarizing ourselves with black excellence. And this is also another type of racism, that whenever you see someone black in leadership positions, especially black women, we think ourselves we're more deserving than them, unfortunately. And I'm not sure why someone black in leadership, this is not too much for someone who has done so much work and waiting in line for too long. So, in the light of all of what I mentioned and all of the education, I've been in, I was blessed with some education, get access to some education through the past 2 years. And in the light of what I said, in order for me to come up with those words, I went through some education and made sure to share the knowledge, because knowledge is just meant to be spread. So, brother Khalid Mohammed from Ghana, we partnered together. He was my illustrator at the new book, The Talking Tree, A Look into Race. This is my new book in Amazon. We partnered together. He's my illustrator. He's from Ghana, and we partnered together. And I made sure to list all of the resources, all the references to the books and the knowledge I have access to in the back of the book. And I'm thankful and grateful to all my teachers, my scholars, and historians who helped me get access to this knowledge. Brother, choosing a black African illustrator from Ghana was actually intentional. So my black brother and sister who are interested in the book would feel like a sense of belonging, because this is where their roots. And being the Arab African mix, being an Arab myself, because you're probably familiar with the Arab who look down upon your skin, who look down upon your poverty, you're looking down upon your faith sometimes. So how about the Arab immigrant who look at your experience with respect, look at your culture and uniqueness with admiration, who look at your struggles with respect, and we're too many. So I'm trying to help change the narrative and build the bridges, the lost bridges that needs to be built. And I'm always having this kind of question: you're not black. Why are you? Why the work of race and skin color-based racism piqued your interest from the very beginning? And there's a very interesting story behind this work and how it started. So as I mentioned before, I'm from Egypt, and Egypt is in Africa. I'm not attributing myself as an African, but it's a fact. I have African descent, which doesn't mean I'm black, but it means that I lived among black people and people of color. Of course, the racism in Egypt or in the Middle East in general is not as awful as in the U.S. or in the West. But I saw it too, and not as a black person, but I saw racism or in skin color based racism, and not as a black person, but I experienced it as someone who lived close to someone with darker skin color, and I saw how the privilege of fair skin negatively impacted people who are close to me, like my sister. My sister is way more beautiful, really beautiful, more beautiful than me. When she's alone, she's out and loud, she has friends, she throws jokes, she's amazing. But when we're together, I'm the one who gets the attention, I'm the one who steals her thunder, I'm the one who gets more marriage proposals, the fair and lovely thing. And that always shook her self-esteem and negatively impacted her. And we have really good, profound relationship. We're not rivals. I treat her like a mother, and she was frank about this. And we talked. My dad would talk to her through it, and my dad was so wise about this. He would say things like, "You know what? You're so emotionally rich to the point that you're more focused on how people perceive you than how you spend a good time with your company. If they don't like you, they're not your people. Find someone else." But this kind of advice was really hard for her to implement. It needs a lot of courage. It was easier to go the other route, be like the standard or look like the standard. So even this kind of advice pushed her more to get those creams to bleach her skin and get those creams to straighten her hair and stuff like that. And it was really heart aching to watch that the peer pressure, the societal pressure would push someone who was really talented, beautiful, and amazing to do things to look like the standards, or to look like or pretend to be somebody he or she's not, just to look like the standard, or to fit in. And one day my dad did something really cool. He brought us both and asked us to stand in front of a mirror, and he told my sister and I just want you to look at yourself and look at your fair-skinned sister. Look at the mirror. I'm just letting you know, in my eyes, you are more beautiful than your fair-skinned sister. In my eyes, you have more eyelashes than her. And in your 40s, you will end up with more hair than her. I'm not taking your sisters down, but I'm trying to help you visualize your own beauty, your own strength. If you're not able to see yourself as beautiful and worthy of love, no one will volunteer to see it for you. You're lucky if you find someone to let you know or help you visualize your own beauty and your own strength. But this is not always the case. So if you believe yourself is beautiful and worthy of love, everybody else will believe it. You have to believe it from yourself. And this kind of advice resonated with my sister, and it resonated with me as well. Regardless of skin color, everybody is beautiful his own way. And eventually, my sister got her self-esteem back. And I remember that day, I was in high school. I wasn't a hijab yet, and my sister was in middle school. And I remember the girls in my school, the tan skin color, and the curly hair was so trendy and fashionable. The girls, I remember the girls on my school would get this pour soda over the skin, so they are not even fair skin, they are mulatto or light tan, they would get those kind of creams to and pour over the skin, so they get tanned and more bronze and more goldy. And at this time, I was the one who's getting the creams to curl my hair and uh, tan my skin. And I got all of the bottles. I got all of the creams. I spent all of this money and nothing. And my sister would just go to the bathroom, just wet her hair and go out and just stand big and beautiful. I'm thankful to God that both of my teenager boys have the curl, and the little one has the tan and the curl as much as my sister. And I'm loving every bit of it. It's amazing. It's beautiful and unique in its way. So I'm just letting you know that this kind of experience and how this work piqued my interest. The having a son with tan skin color and curly hair revived the memory. Because he doesn't look like me, and I also have to experience the same thing with him. The same thing that experience with my sister. But because we live in America, I have to address a different way. And the experience was really unique to me, and I'm really grateful for everybody who's watching, and I would love for you to take a peek, sneak a peek at the book, and it's available on Amazon. I'm gonna provide the link to the book at the comments below, and I'm gonna tag Brother Khalid if you're interested in his work in his gallery. He's really swift with orders, and he's amazing. And thanks for watching.